take you out of this place.
Live from the Broughton Cabinet Studio, it's the Need to Know Morning Show on AM 1100, The Flag.
It's a beautiful day.
All right, we're in the home stretch, buddy.
We are.
Capping off our part of the 8 o'clock hour.
It moves
Couple of
fast.
things going on. Yeah, it does. 8:06, it's Thursday. We're 2 weeks from Thanksgiving, my friend. So just let that settle in.
I'm going to have to go buy my bird.
Yeah.
How long do those things take to unthaw is what I need to
overnight.
know.
Overnight.
Yeah, but you're supposed to do it in the refrigerator.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a couple days then.
Because they say you shouldn't put it on the counter.
Right. Yep, you're right. Yep.
So,
That's a
couple
that's what you
days
should do
then?
there. Yep. So it's Steve, Alex, and Kev. Steve-O's got the morning off back tomorrow to join us for the Friday week wrap-up. Alex and Kev here, 701-271-1100. Anything on your mind? You might want to call in and chat with our next guest with any questions. That's the Consolidated Communications phone line.
Oh.
Use them for your data.
Did you see we got an email here?
I didn't. What'd you get?
Oh, we do. Need to know, team. How about using the most accurate term for the Democrat witch hunt?
What do you got?
Impeachment persecution process. Impeachment persecution process.
That's a big use of word.
It's a mouthful.
I like it.
I do too. It's accurate.
There you go.
Thank you for that one.
By the way, that's the True IT inbox. True IT. I'll say it. They are your go-to for tech, Consolidated Communications, your go-to for data, wiring, any of that stuff. All of it. Between the two of them for your business, you just can't beat it. Period. Studio@flagfamily.com is the email. All right, let's talk a little. Should we go talking some home, right?
Let's talk home.
No, you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
The company is Right at Home. Barry Maring. I call him Dr. Barry. He's not a doctor, but he takes care of people. And but Barry, welcome back to the Need to Know Morning Show, buddy. How are you?
Good, Kevin. How are you?
Good. Local owner of Right at Home. We're going to talk an issue that some people really deal with, especially this time of year when you get icy sidewalks and icy roads, and that's falling. And boy, the falls of President Carter recently have kind of brought that to light for seniors especially.
Yeah, he even had a brain bleed on his head too.
Yeah.
And there's lots of things that can happen when
broke
you fall.
his hip, broke his pelvis, hurt his head.
Yeah, it's not like a 4-year-old falling and just getting up going, I'm okay. That ain't it.
And one thing I know, Barry, that a couple of my friends are dealing with, our dear friends, her mom she still wants to stay in her house. So they've worked on making her house safe. And I know you do that at Right at Home, but falling is a big thing, isn't it? Especially for seniors in this time of year.
Yeah, this is always, excuse me, that you'll see a lot of seminars and things, and you get the ice out, everybody starts thinking about falling, but it definitely is the precursor to a lot of not fun things, for your loved ones. So when we go in and I'll do an initial consultation, I'll always check out the house and make sure there aren't any obvious, trip hazards, with rugs that are maybe a little too high, maybe have an electrical cord, just little things like that, making sure the chairs don't have wheels on them because they can sit down and then fall over.
Yeah, rugs are a big culprit. That happened to my neighbor lady. She slipped on a rug and she ended up in the nursing home and she had other issues there. And so it was about a year before she could get back home again after the initial slipping on a rug.
Yeah, you should definitely put some of those like sticky pads underneath the rugs and just make sure they're not too tall too, because you might have an inch-high rug and you can trip, or if you have a walker, things like that.
Right.
So get rid of those rugs.
But, and she laid there, though, for quite a while before her son came home. I mean, it was hours where she laid there and no one knew, and she couldn't get up and she couldn't do anything. Is there something, those little things you wear on you or something that...
they have those kind of alert system
life
kind of
alerts.
things.
Life alert,
life alerts. Those help. Or if they're still a little bit, if they have a cell phone or something, because you don't want them sitting there forever.
Right.
And that's really scary. And that usually starts it's a slippery slope and everything kind of goes downhill from that point.
That's what I was just going to ask you. That little event, that fall, whatever, can trigger... Literally, I mean, she said she ended up in the nursing home
for like a year with different things that happened because of it.
Yeah, and I'm sure you see that.
We do a lot, and we try to get ahead of them or get a hold of them prior to this, but usually it's too late. Even by the time we get there, they've already fallen and they're in a nursing home, in rehab, and then they get sent home. That's primarily then when we get involved. Unfortunately, it'd be nice.
Right. Yeah.
My dad's getting older. He'll be 78 this year. soon in December here. And I'm starting to think more now too. I'm going to go back to his place in Scottsdale when I go down for Christmas and just make sure there aren't any obvious trip hazards and things. He's got an eye issue, so it just isn't. You just got to be careful because it'll start a lot of bad things.
Well, and not only rugs, but in the showers, another place. What can you do about the showers? I know a lot of times you put like the handlebars and things up so people can hold on for grip. What else can you do for safety?
The grab handles are great. So I would say, if it's a shower, get it's called like a shower bench. Mm-hmm. You can either put it in the tub or in a shower where they can access it outside of the shower or tub, then kind of slide in. And then get a handheld wand so they don't have to get up and stuff like that. They can take their shower, their whatever inside. They don't get it wet. Nothing happens. They don't have to move. But the grab handles are a big thing. And then make sure the rugs in the bathroom don't slip. Make sure there aren't any towels on the ground. Things like that.
And and if you want Barry's, that's what he does. He'll come in, and if you want him to go through mom and dad or grandma and grandpa's or whatever the case may be, their house, and kind of just give you a look through. Is available. The thing that and I know we find a lot that people just say, I don't want to leave my home. I want to stay in. That's the thing that our friends are dealing with. Her mom does not. She loves her house. She loves her kitchen. Yeah. She loves her garden.
She's lived there forever.
Right. Loves her garden, the whole deal. And she doesn't want to go. So the caregiving aspect has fallen on our friends, especially our friend Kim, taking care of her mom. Do you find a lot of that? We hear a lot about caregiving, but do you see a lot of kids kind of helping out more and more? I'm hearing that that's the case.
Yeah, caregiving is kind of a universal term, and it can mean different things here and there. So our employees, for instance, from our agency, we call caregivers. But there's also the common term would be a caregiver. If you were, it's typically the oldest daughter of a loved one that takes care of all that.
That's what my friend Kim. Yeah,
that's
me.
So that person will be a caregiver typically, and they will take care of mom or dad, and it's a burden to them. So this is where we can come in and give them the fancy term respite, just give them a break so they can get to work on time and get to the kids' soccer games and be a good spouse and not have to spend a majority of their time just taking care of the loved one. And I know they love to do that, but nobody has that much time.
Right. And they need, in order to be a good caretaker, you have to have some time for yourself and do the things you love. Otherwise, the stress gets to be just overwhelming.
What happens is the caregiver forgets to take care of themselves.
Yep.
Right.
And then they fall apart, and that's no good. It's kind of like the old oxygen deal. Put your oxygen mask on first. If you're not healthy and happy, you can't take care of somebody else.
Yeah. Like with seniors, though, I know stability and balance is a problem. Is there any kind of exercises and things? It could even be from the medications that they're taking, or just loss of muscle coordination after so long. Is there anything you can do to kind of help seniors with the balance so they don't slip and fall like that so much?
I would just say anything that you're doing exercise-wise, make sure that your eyes are in good shape, that you're getting your prescriptions done, that you're wearing your corrective lenses. Exercise to whatever your ability is. If you want to get with somebody at the gym and talk to somebody, but it's good. You're right, because it all starts with imbalance, tripping, not being able to see, just these basic things. They need to exercise and be in decent shape because they could trip and fall. And a lot of it's just a balance issue.
And I'm a member of the Y, and they have such an active SilverSneakers program there.
That's a great program.
Fabulous. Yeah. They have classes like 3-4 times a day. Before class, they meet for coffee. They talk with friends. After class, they meet with friends as well. A lot of times their classes, they're sitting in chairs too.
Yep.
Moving.
That's an
and
excellent
doing.
Program. And that's the most well known because that's nationwide. We have some Parkinson's clients that go to a thing called Rock Steady Boxing. That's exactly what it is. Because
is that here in town?
Yeah, all over the place. Fargo, Grand Forks, Fergus, Detroit Lakes. Specifically, they have very poor balance typically. And this is just kind of what you think. It's a boxing class. It improves their balance. It does wonders for all that. And hopefully that they will not trip and fall because they do have a difficult time walking sometimes. The Parkinson's clients, they shuffle a little bit and then they tend to trip on stuff.
But, it really helps.
What's it called?
It's called Rock Steady Boxing.
Rock Steady Boxing.
But it really helps get you out and with other members of the community, other people your age. So if you have issues, you can talk amongst yourselves and kind of work things out and just not feel so alone and isolated.
I think that's 9/10 of a lot of times. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's what you have.
It
and you can hang around your peers. You can hang around other people with similar, issues. You can talk about it. You sit around. You can have some coffee after.
Yep.
You do your stuff. It's that a big part of it too. You know, we're on the slip and fall stuff, but you've got to have a good mindset. And what can happen is if you do get hurt, you get stuck in your house, you get depressed because you can't go anywhere. This just starts a huge downward spiral. So take care of the simple things. Make sure your sidewalks are clean, no ice. Careful out when you're walking. Maybe put spikes on the bottoms of your shoes.
Good.
My big deal, I always tell people 3 points of contact always when you're going up and down stairs or a ladder. So do not carry something in your hands that take 2 hands that you can't grab a railing. So
Right.
make sure there's
Good
a
point.
railing always. I do that today. You know, I'm 51 years old.
Well, it's good practice.
It's good practice.
It's good habits.
Yes. So
That's
that is
yeah.
a huge thing.
If you do any sailing, it's one hand for you, one hand for the boat.
Yes.
Yeah, don't ever.
Because you fall one time, that can start just an awful.
Oh, it does.
And I want to go back just to the deal about, caregiving and if you're an oldest daughter taking care of your mom or dad, and it's getting tough, and this has got to be the best way, because when you bring Barry in, you can not only say, okay, he's here to help, and then if you make a determination rather than hearing it from their daughter or son, when Barry says, well, maybe it's time to start thinking about, it's probably easier for them to hear if it's coming from a professional.
It is. This is a tough time. A lot of times these families don't know where to turn. They'll Google some weird thing. I need help for mom or something. They don't even know that we exist as a home care company. They don't know what's out there. So yes, and there's a lot of resistance sometimes because mom or dad's like, hey, I'm fine. I don't need this.
And then they get angry.
Yes, they do.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. Yeah. They get angry.
And you take that out of the deal when Barry comes in.
A big thing for me is we try to create a strategy with the family, the best way to approach their loved one. So if it's they talking to them first and then I come in a little later, or we all kind of come in and talk about it almost like an intervention sometimes, and just to get them, to believe that, first they need it, and secondly they can afford it with a schedule we put together, and it just makes everybody happy. Who wouldn't want somebody there kind of waiting on them and hanging out?
Is it like a sliding pay scale then by income or whatever, or how does that?
No, unfortunately, in our deal, I've got to be careful because there's these different terms like home health, home care, things like that.
Sure.
When I say home care, I'm kind of thinking more up to the nursing level. And then home health has been typically like nursing, physical therapy, occupational therapy. But now like Medicare and Medicaid wants everything to kind of be called home health now. So we've got to be a little careful. Like Medicare, for instance, will not pay for our personal home care services if that's the only thing.
Okay.
And it will limit. So like if your mother was in a nursing home, you'll see it'll last like 2 to 3 weeks and then it's done.
Right.
They send her home.
Yep.
With nothing else, and that's when we get involved. That's when we can come in, but we're primarily just private pay. Or if you're blessed to have some long-term care insurance, that helps a lot. Or if you're like in North Dakota, we take Medicaid. And that's typically for the poorer people, but Medicare will not cover our services exclusively.
Okay. Well, and if you're, if you are having these conversations as the holidays are coming and heading into the new year, give Barry a call. Barry Mehring is the owner of Right at Home, and if you go to rightathome.net/Fargo, right? You got to have the /Fargo.
Yeah, you'll find us somewhere.
Yeah, you'll find us. Or call
no worries.
Don't worry.
Barry's number is 701-799-0400. Right downtown on Broadway, 15 Broadway North, Suite 604 right there.
Call him, have the discussion. He can help you out with your problems.
Always good to see you, sir.
Thanks, Kevin.
You bet.
Thanks,
and keep up the great work you do. I know that you're an angel for a lot of people.
Appreciate that.
They need you.
We love it.
No doubt about it. All right.